It's a beautiful day. It is a beautiful Monday night, and 4 times the charm with Joe Castro coming on. To get this thing going. What's going on, dude?
I'm chilling, man. I am chilling. We can start the we can start the bets on the over under of how many times my mic will cut out in this show. I feel like
Yeah.
that's a every week thing as well. But now I'm excited, man. Like we said before the show, it's a beautiful time to be a Philadelphia Eagles
Mm,
fan. Christmas came early.
it is. It is. I want to say everybody hi in the chat. What is going on, guys? We got Chris Scott, Logan Motorsports. We got LeBron. We got Chris Graham, Philly 416. Hold on. We got MJ, Napalm Future. What's going on, guys? So, the Eagles are 8-1. They win 28-23 against the Cowboys yesterday. We needed this bye very badly. This team needs a break. This team needs a rest. So we'll go through the game. The good thing that I'll say about this game, and I said it in the shakedown last night, this was an entertaining game. This was a close game, which I thought it was going to be regardless. And the Eagles-Cowboys rivalry is the best.
Yeah.
The best in sports, in my opinion. It just feels like that. It's just a different game, especially in Philadelphia. Whether it's in Philadelphia or Dallas, it's always crazy,
And crazy expensive. Yeah, that was exactly the game I kind of wanted. Like, yeah, outside of the game, the rivalry is beautiful because I feel like it brings fans together as much as it divides fans as
Yeah.
well. It does bring fans together, and it's kind of cool to see. But at the end of the day, I do feel like that was the perfect scenario for the Philadelphia Eagles as far as what the Dallas Cowboys did. It was heart-wrenching, and it was one of those like, when is it gonna stop type, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh my god, we got a nice little 11-point lead. Is it over now? No, of course not. It was just never ending, but it ended, and it ended the right way. Like I said earlier, it ended the way it was supposed to end. But yeah, the rivalry is beautiful. We get to ride that rivalry high for at least like another 4 weeks. I think we have 4 more weeks till we play them again. So let's get it. It's a beautiful time. I really do feel like it's Christmas. I gotta check my chimney. I don't have a chimney, but if I had a chimney, I'd have to check to make sure it's not Santa come bringing me dubs. But
Yeah. Dude, it's the number one thing I could say right now is Jalen Hurts, man. I think we were all gassed when he was kind of on the ground and he had that little cheap shot, or I don't know what everybody wants to call it at this point from DeMarcus Lawrence, but it was bad. I thought it was going to be really bad, and I was really nervous. I didn't know what was going to happen after that going into the half. I didn't know if Marcus Mariota was going to play. I really started to figure out that maybe if Hurts' knee was that bad at that point, do they just say screw this game and got to think about your future? Like, no joke. Like, that's what I was saying. Like, is it really worth it to really win this game at this point? And kind of just take him out. And, you don't want to get this guy worse. I mean, not even just for this year. You're talking future. You just paid this guy and you don't want him hurt anymore. So, came in, looked really good on some throws. Had that AJ Brown touchdown in the third quarter. Really, the Eagles started to separate in the third quarter a little bit. I don't know what you thought when Jalen Hurts got hit. What were you thinking? What was the reaction?
When Jalen Hurts got, when you see the hit, when you see him, thriving in pain to get off the field, the first thought for me, it was like, what are we gonna do? I saw, Tanner McKee warming up. I saw, Marcus. I didn't see him, but apparently Marcus Mariota obviously was warming up as well. And it's like, what's gonna happen, right? Who's gonna go in there? Because part of me is like, I would not mind seeing what Tanner McKee would do in this situation. I'm not gonna lie to you, but you're at that point that you're up a good amount. You go into the second half. I don't know. I was hoping we would obviously get Jalen Hurts back. The fact that he came back the next play feels like that's not how the rules are set up. Like, I feel like, he was supposed to sit out or something like that. But to see him out there the next play, that's just incredible. Jalen Hurts is a dog, but at some point you do have to think, like, when is it not worth it? if I was them, I would look at him this bye week. I would, look at him this bye week, see how he's working, see how he feels when he comes back. And maybe, say the Kansas City game, I know every fan is going to be mad as hell, but it ain't that important to us right now. You know what I'm saying? It's an out of conference. I know it's a huge team. Everybody wants to see us play that team, but that's when I would be like, you know what? Let's give him a week. Let's give him a week. Okay. You could kind of talk me more into that, but I'm sure he's going to be playing, and I hope that nothing else happens. But that whole game was just so up and down from the second. And to think that he had that injury and then still went out there and basically won us the game. I mean, he basically went out there and won us the game in the second half. So I don't know. It was an amazing game. It was a lot to learn from it, a lot to kind of look at and figure out what you can do. But it was a good game. I don't know. It's tough to really just read because it's like I'm still kind of riding off that high. It was just so up and down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean, there's people saying like that we're tripping. There's people saying that like why would to even think about taking him out of the game or whatnot, or playing him in a game that's not going to be worth anything. Like, we know that every game is very valuable, but at the same time, it's this is a knee issue. This isn't an elbow. This isn't a hamstring. This is like something that could curse his whole entire career. And you don't want to have knee problems with a mobile quarterback that's already not mobile as it is right now. I mean, I was watching highlights from last year, and I'm just like, damn, like I'm seeing the difference between him running last year and this year. Like, you're missing so much speed right now. I know Hurts does what he can during these games, but trying to protect his body, try not to give, I think even like sometimes these injuries are a blessing in disguise too, because you're kind of forcing him to play in the pocket, and it's kind of making him better,
Yeah,
to be more of a pocket guy.
better. Yeah, and I think that I think when you look at, like you said, from last year to this year, you look at his running and everything. But I also, even pre wherever that may have been pre-injury, I think that you saw Jalen Hurts that was more mindful of protecting himself. So that's a good thing as well to see that from year 2 to year 3 now. So I think that there's a lot of things that he's learning, and now the turnovers are going down. I think he only has one over the past couple games, so that's good. That's what you want to see. So it looks like he's growing. It looks like even within the season he's growing. And yeah, as far as his knee, I mean, look, I'm if you're not 100% to go against Kansas City, I'm not throwing you out there. I'm sorry. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me if I'm the coach. If you're telling me you're not 100%, like I'm probably around 70, I'm still where I kind of was. Nah. Hey, or even a little bit worse. Nah, bro. I'm not. I'm not. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's a whole, if we win that game against Kansas City, he puts all his guts out there. Oh my God, what a performance. And then we don't have him for the playoffs. What does that game matter? That game does not matter. And right now we're sitting in a good position when it comes to the NFC in general and the NFC East, obviously, with that win over the Dallas Cowboys. Losing isn't what you want to do, but sometimes you got to look at it and say, listen, we can probably sacrifice 1 week for the greater good of this season, or whatever it may be. And who knows? Maybe they do throw Tanner McKee in there. I would love to see Tanner McKee if it's going to be between the two. I obviously not over Jalen Hurts, but if it's between Marcus Mariota and Tanner McKee, I wouldn't mind seeing what he does, to be honest, because we're going to lose a lot of, and it's no slight to Mariota in any way, but you're going to lose a lot of the passing game when you put Mariota in there. At least Tanner McKee might be able to keep things going for you. Yeah, just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, Casey's going to be a tough game. It ain't going to be look, Casey's not playing at the top of their game like they have been even last year. I mean, they've definitely struggled this year. I mean, I think Miami didn't get a first down to the third quarter. And actually, no, not a first down. They didn't get a third down conversion to the third quarter, which is, just kind of crazy. But Casey's defense is they'll blitz you. They will. That's what they did to Miami. They got pressure, and that's all they did. Got into his face and made him inaccurate, and couldn't really do much with these track star receivers. So it's gonna be a big week, but it's a good week to just get guys back, to get Cam Jurgens back, to get obviously Bradley Roby back, which I think we really need badly.
Yes. And he said on Twitter, I think he'd replied to somebody and was like, "Oh yes, sir, I'm coming back after the bye." So that could be big. That could be big for us.
There was some news too I saw today that there is a good chance if the Eagles get into the playoffs, they make it through at least a round, or depending, Maddox could be back. there was some news floating around today that Max could be back through the grapevine. If the mid playoffs he would come
That would
back.
be interesting. That would be interesting. It would be interesting to see how you would want to use him. Like, would you just trust him just to start him back up if Bradley Roby's doing all right? Like, maybe you just kind of get. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the secondary because we're not terrible as safety. Maybe there's some question marks, but Reed Blankenship has played the best, and I feel like that's the only real question mark as far as say. I mean, who Kevin Byard is. He might not be as great as he used to be, but he's still pretty darn good. And then your cornerbacks, Slay is pretty good still. Bradbury is that's a topic right there. Bradbury, I don't know what Bradbury is right now. I really don't know.
Dude, I mean, Cowboys had a mismatch the whole entire game. It was in the slot. I mean, that was the mismatch the whole game because Ricks had issues all day. I mean, they all had issues. Sidney Brown, they had issues all day. Like that's, Lamb had 191, 192 yards and a fumble. I think the last catch he fumbled it, but I mean, he didn't score any touchdowns. He held the Cowboys to 6 points in the second half, which was great. But when it comes to a defensive standpoint, even hearing some news from Slay the other day that he went up to the side and said, if they put Lamb in the slot, I'm going in the slot. Like it was just, I guess these players just got tired of it. And Nick from the press conference today, it just seems like he's okay with that 3rd and 3 play. I mean, he has one-on-one. AJ Brown has that one-on, he's got the man coming. How much more time you could have wasted there?
Yeah, for right.
I mean, as soon as they punt that ball, dude, look, because at the end of the day, like if you run the ball at Swift again on 3rd and 3 or something like that, and don't give that big pass to AJ Brown that went nowhere, like you could do the tush push again. You could do the brotherly shove. You could do stuff like that, even if he gets a yard or two, whatever. But then you're just in the standpoint now, you punt the ball and it was a great punt down to the 14-yard line. And this is where things got interesting because we literally gave this game away. Literally gave it away. From the 14 to the 50 from a PI from Bradbury, from the 50 to the 25 with another penalty, then to the 11. And then the Cowboys had 3 penalties. 3. Moved them back. That whole quarter was like, in our
last
in the
minute
red
or
zone.
two was crazy. Yeah, the last minute or two was like, what the hell? What the hell is going on right now? That was the crazy. The Eagles defense was just so unreliable, and the fact that they didn't give up a touchdown in the second half was kind of crazy because they had like 3 or 4 opportunities. It felt like maybe it wasn't, but it felt like they were always in the red zone, like you said. So it's a miracle. I don't know what the heck happened. Dallas happened. That's what happened.
No, Texas boy said it perfectly. He said a failed tight end touchdown and Dak foot out of bounds saved the Eagles. I mean, those 2 plays made it. Those were 2 big stops. And
shout out to BG.
Oh,
Brandon Graham, 14 snaps going crazy, or 17, something like that. Went crazy on his snaps. That was the first game this year. I'm gonna be real with you. I actually watched like as a fan. Like a lot of times I'm watching these games trying to see what's going on, what I can talk about, what's intriguing to me. That game, I was looking at that like, man, woo, we better win this game. Like it was something different. So it's tough, man. But we got lucky on some plays, but they got lucky on a lot of plays as well. So it was up and down. I feel like that was as fair of a game as you can get, even with the refs' involvement on both sides. There was plays I could have been like, why are you calling that for both sides? You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. The refs, you take them out of it. The game itself was amazing. I mean, that's what you want for a Dallas Cowboys versus Eagles game. Like, it's nice to blow them out. Don't get me wrong, but I can't wait to the next one. This is going to be a heavyweight fight. This is going to be a heavyweight fight, and hopefully we're even more healthy when we get there. You know what I'm saying? A little bit more continuity.
Yeah, I mean, Dak missed some wide open targets too. I mean, he missed. I think on the Shoemaker that pass, I think Cooks was open. I forgot what play it was. I know Cooks was wide open back of the end zone. Did not see him at all. I mean, it's on. The Eagles have gotten no respect from this game, and that's fine because it's pretty much been like, well, Dallas was this close and look how good they are. Like it's just one of those things where it's like, if you're not making the plays, then this is part of the game of football. Like if you're not making those plays, then why are you getting why are you getting gifted like compliments for not making the plays that you should be making, or the way the AJ Brown Swift collision. Oh my dude.
Yeah, we
like
did some dumb stuff.
I thought it was over. My heart just dropped and I didn't know what the fuck happened.
We did dumb stuff. And I mean, we did a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of weird stuff. But shout out to Jalen Hurts, shout out to whoever was calling plays, because they did stick to their guns for the most part. And I respect that, because they didn't just give up on DeAndre Swift, or at least I didn't feel like they did. There were stupid calls and stupid plays, like, throwing it deep on third down. But for the most part, they did stick to their guns. And I respect that. I liked it. Jalen Hurts was on one leg out here, like, making things happen. It was incredible to watch, but there's a lot of things we got to clean up, but we did a lot of good things as well. We definitely did a lot of good things. So it's one of those games that you look at, and Dallas is going to talk what they're going to talk. They're going to be delusional no matter what, but you look at that team and there's a lot to clean up, but there's a lot to be happy about. So, Eli Ricks needs to get better. There's a lot of guys. I don't know. I could go down like player for player. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these dudes, this dude did all right. This dude did terrible. Like, it was such a crazy game.
Yeah, I agree. Linda Conyers says we are 27th in pass defense because we play zone defense, period. We can't go into a playoffs in this crap, though. I mean, I have to go into this bye week and say, like, you can't play like this anymore. I mean, you can't contest one receiver or one tight end. That's how bad it is. We need to go back to Slay getting the number one guy. You really have to. And I had the statistics in front of me, but the statistics were really good when Slay was on Lamb. It was only like 4 times the whole game. Yeah. I mean, they haven't been doing that all year. They just been putting everybody back, keeping them on one side, and that's it. I mean, a lot of, the mismatches were crazy with Lamb. I mean, 191, 192 yards against, 2 rookies. I mean, it's expected at that point. He didn't get a touchdown, surprisingly. The back end held up nicely at times, but you can't play football like this. You're not going to last one round in the playoffs like this. It took a while for this defensive line to, Reddick was really the only one for a while in that game where he was getting pressure and pressure. Terrence Steele was a big mismatch there. But then, then Graham started to come out. Then other guys really started. Josh Sweat. I mean, just fantastic. Everybody started to come up. There's things that we could call. Like, I felt like there were some holding penalties they could have called. I felt like, Carter got held on a couple plays. Josh Sweat has like 50 pressures and 6.5 sacks. Yeah. It's crazy, dude.
And he leads the team. He leads the team in like fourth quarter sacks. I think he's right above Hassan Reddick right now, who also goes crazy in the fourth quarter. But that's the thing. We got dogs, and I was calling it the whole fourth quarter. I was sitting there like Josh Sweat or Hassan Reddick. We need one of them to make a big play. And look, going into that game, I'm not trying to sit here and pat myself on the back, but I knew that was the only way we were going to beat Dak Prescott is by what we did, to be 100% honest. I know it was ugly on defense, but that was the only real chance we had is making them drive the ball down the field as long as they could. You know what I'm saying? As long as they can kind of hold them, don't let them get anything too deep. Dak Prescott, to his credit, he was getting out of the pocket. He was creating time. He was getting his guys open in a sense. So he was making it happen. I thought that maybe that extra second would, result in way more sacks. We did get pressure. We did end up, getting some sacks, but I thought it would end up in way more, that more times than it did, because he was able to get out of the pocket. He was able to make things happen after time. So I respect that. I ain't going to sit here and hate on him for that. But I will say the Eagles basically made him keep going down the field. And then by the time they got to the red zone, they ran out of gas. That's what they always do. So once the field shrinks, the Eagles defense got a lot better. Yes. It's a lot easier. So that I was like, that's really our only way. Like, we're probably going to give up points to you. Like, it is what it is, but we have to mitigate how easy it is for you, because if we just let them bombs away, getting easy touchdowns, like, we were going to get screwed. Like, our offense can keep up to a certain extent, but you're just going to get yourself screwed. So the way that they did it, keeping everything in front of them, sometimes zone is your friend, and unfortunately right now, I don't feel like we have, as weird as it sounds, I think outside of Slay, you don't have the guys that you can really trust in man coverage right now. So Sucks to say, but maybe they
It,
can use Sidney Brown a little bit more. Maybe Reed Blankenship. Maybe Kevin Byard. So we'll see. They have to figure something out. I truly don't believe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe I'm.
No, you can't go into this bye week and say oh, this is how we're winning. We're winning this way, so let's just keep doing it. You can't do this. You literally can't. I'm having deja vu from last year where people were just not giving a shit, and people were like, the offense for the Eagles last year was putting points up, and they were so explosive, and then the defense was just giving life to every offense we were playing and letting them come back into games and putting more pressure on our offense. And then then people were telling me to relax, whatever. And then by that last game, which was the Super Bowl last year, it all fell apart. I don't want to go through that again where we get to the big game this year if we do that, and then we shit the bed pretty much. And that's what I'm getting from this right now. But the only difference from last year to this year is that we are struggling on offense at times. Some of our play design on certain down situations are not matching where us fans could see it. I mean, we see this shit every week, and I don't know why the coaching staff just they're blind. I don't know what it is.
I think it is complacency. I think you hit it on the nail. They're just complacent, and it's crazy. Not to play devil's advocate for them, even though after I'm just saying the complacency part. But we just put 28 points up on one of the best defenses in the league. Right, that's what they kept saying they were. Right, that's one of the best defenses in the doomsday defense. Right, so I mean, we just put 28 points up on them and looked bad. That's the crazy part. We were not playing our best offensively or defensively, obviously, but offensively, I mean, that was a really good game for Jalen Hurts. That was very just a very, very smooth and in control type of game. So he was probably playing his best, but outside of that, it was a kind of inconsistent game from the offense, but we still put up 28 points, which is just crazy. Yeah, it's just crazy how good this team is. So good, even though I know we always kind of get into these, you know what I'm saying, they need to fix this, which they do, don't get me wrong, but it's crazy to kind of sit back and be like, and we're still.
Well, I'm just saying, you're gonna win. You're gonna win in different. Let me go with the super chat real quick, and I'll get into it.
My bad.
No, you're good. You're good. Skrill Gang with super chat says Brian Graham, player of the game.
Facts.
I mean, him and Blankenship had those two big stops for potential 2-point conversion and a touchdown. Would it change tremendously? No doubt. Mr. Rudy Poot, the super chat says Dak's best game was an L. Dog, this is pure comedy and mediocrity.
Facts.
It's just got to get the job done, man. It was. I didn't expect it to go like that. I expected to be a close game, but the last couple weeks from this defense and the amount of just yards they've been giving up, it's just crazy. I was telling Cowboy fans all week last week that Dak's going to look good. He's going to look good. It's going to happen. He's going to get his yards. It's really dependent on this pass rush. And I think with and look, Dak, you said it yourself, Dak extending the plays killed us. Getting a hand on him, he escapes. I'm like, here we go. It's gonna be a wide open. Hey, you already know what's gonna happen. It's gonna be a wide open pass sooner or later. Wherever they got, they got a lot of speed.
Yeah, every time he let go of the ball, you're sitting there like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Every time he actually threw the ball, you're like, damn, what's about to happen? It was terrible. What's your favorite excuse? You can read that first. My bad, but I want to.
No, you're good. You're good. I'll read it. Ron Yancey, you've been a member for 18 months. Thank you so much, man. He says, from a play calling standpoint, I feel we let off the gas significantly in the second we get up 2 possessions. It's frustrating. Sirianni doesn't bury teams. No, they play conservative. That's if they're up by a couple touchdowns or whatnot, that's what they're going to do. I can't stand it. I hate it. I don't know if it's because he doesn't want to guarantee injury. I don't know. I don't know what it is. We didn't blitz that much. I mean, not from what I could see in the game. I said some shit last night that people didn't like. When you're winning and you start nitpicking at certain things, some Eagle fans aren't going to like it. I was kind of nitpicking. I think the example I said, I nitpicked that, kind of what what's his face said last night. Forgot one of the reporters said something last night. I just forgot his name. And it was a good point, actually. I want to ask you, though, Nakobe Dean, do you think he's hurting this linebacker core since he's been back? Or were you really liking the Zach Cunningham, Nicholas Morrow, tangent without him?
I don't think he's hurting this linebacker core. I think that this coaching staff is kind of hurting this linebacking core. I don't think that the linebackers are asked to do as much as Nakobe Dean is asked to do. He's asked to do a lot. Like is that Cunningham, and it's no like excuse. There are definitely plays that he hasn't been that great, but I think if you watch the tape, if you really sit there and watch tape on Nakobe Dean, you'll be surprised on how well he has been playing and where he has been. It's just that this whole team is getting hoed. Like, I mean, this whole secondary is getting hoed right now. Like, I don't know. I really don't understand why people are, and I think it's actually maybe I do. Maybe it's because once Dean came back, it started looking even worse, I guess. But we looked the same in that Washington game as we did the last Washington.
True. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was without Dean. So we were gonna give up points to the Dallas Cowboys. We knew that he was gonna come in there. I mean, outside of that, who else did we play that they really like hold us because of Dean? Like those were the only 2 games he came back for. The first game, our passing game wasn't that bad. Our pass defense was not that bad. I mean, I think it's timing. I think it's like he came back at a bad time. We just, I don't know.
It's hard to see because I pretty much made a comment about it and was like, I feel like, I don't know, it could be scheme, it could be, I pretty much said like Nakobe Dean is just not looking what we, this is technically his rookie year really, because last year he had some, but how are you supposed to know what you have when you're not letting them play football? I feel like they're just they're sitting in a spot and they're waiting to get burned every play. Like I don't get how you're supposed to evaluate your defensive side of the ball, your defensive roster at this point when you're just playing off the ball so much. And like what Dallas did, like literally, I think, what was it? I thought it was like the end of the third quarter or something. I forgot what it was when they were playing a lot of zone in the fourth quarter or whatever it was. And then we were getting some passes underneath and stuff on the AJ Brown to the left sideline and stuff like that. Like that's how we play all game. And it's the most annoying shit possible. So I want to say that this coaching staff is going to change, but I honestly, if you're already through 9 weeks, it's really tough for me to think that they're going to, well, what are they going to evaluate? I mean,
I think with, if you look at the defense, realistically, this is like what I would probably do. If I had to make changes, which I feel like they do, I would keep Slay where he's at, obviously. I would realistically, like, seriously look at Eli Ricks. And I know that he just got smacked up. Yeah. He got a terrible PFF grade. I get all that. But it is there. There's something there. There's definitely something there. You asked him to go out there and hold on to basically one of the best wide receivers in your division. I mean, outside of AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, CD Lamb's right up there, right? So I think that that's a very, very tough thing to do. And Bradbury wouldn't have been able to do it. I'm sorry. Bradbury just definitely wouldn't have. It should have been more Slay. It should have been probably more Byard or Sidney Brown, some type of mixture of that. But I just think that you need to really look at Eli Ricks, see if he's your better option. You look at what you can do with James Bradbury and kind of sprinkle him in like on more of your bigger wide receivers, tight end types, because that's really what he can cover right now. He's not fast enough to cover these outside wide receivers anymore. I just don't think he is.
And I know it's not easy to put Slay and like, you want to put Slay on the inside. That's the problem though, because they can't just put Slay to the inside. Like I think Slay forced him, was like, dude, I need to go get him because he's making too many plays. You put Slay to the inside, then you have a rookie on the outside or whatever, whether it's Sidney Brown, whether it's Eli Ricks or something like that. And then you're more vulnerable to get beat over the top, especially if there's no safety help or something. So that's why we could say, oh, just put him on the best receiver. I know it's easy to say that, but they don't do it because that's the problem. Like Avonte Max getting hurt totally screwed us this year. Zach McPherson getting hurt totally screwed. I mean, we don't know what Zach McPherson was going to do. He had a really good camp. He looked very promising. He was really the backup nickel this year. So that's been the problem. And because you're cross training Sidney Brown so late, as a rookie, and you don't have any, that's why I said, dude, Chauncey was the biggest loss of the offseason. It 100% was. And we are totally hurting from that, but everybody's hurting in this defense now because of this scheme. I'm not going to throw shade at Bradbury. I mean, he looks god awful. Okay. He looks like he's 35. I mean, he looks from last year to this year, totally different. But I think that a lot of it, I mean, it's really tough for me. It's tough for me to say. Like, if I see every person that between the last couple of weeks, between Washington and the Cowboys, the last couple of weeks, this secondary has been getting, they can't even hold, even for an extension of a play, they can't even hold, defending these tight ends and receivers. They can't even hold it. I mean, it's like either they get the first read. If they get the first read and there's no pressure from this defensive line, it's almost automatic. They're going to get a big time separation completion almost every time. And it pisses me off so much because this roster is bailing out. I mean, this roster is bailing out this coach, and this is what we did last year. This roster is so good. I mean, the roster was legendary last year statistically. What they did last year, they could have done potentially even better. It's just crazy, dude. I could harp on this all day. I could talk about it all day, and the answer to it is partly like you're setting your players up to fail, and you're not using these players. What's the point of paying Bradbury $13-14 million? What's the point? What's the point of drafting defensive tackles in the first round? What is the point if this is how you're going to play? Like, I understand we got into the season. Desai said, we're going to, this defense is going to be felt, and all this crap that he said. And it's the total opposite. I mean, we're paying our offense to put so many points on the board right now. And then if they do, the defense is just going to let up the more points they score. And it's not fair.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt until after the bye. Like once the bye's gone, because like obviously on offense, we have some guys that really probably need a week or two to take off. But right now, we should be trending towards healthy on defense. Like last week, we had like our full set of guys and everything. But you look at
You're good.
But you look at basically the guys that we have coming back on the offense, on the defensive side, you should be pretty good. You should be close to 100%. So there should be no excuse. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt until that happens, until after, because I think that's when you'll really get to see what this defense is supposed to be. And then offensively, I just keep on trucking. I mean, they're going to click at some point. I feel like they're going to figure it out at some point. I feel like last game against the Dallas Cowboys, like I said, they kind of stuck to their guns. So I like that. I like that. But they'll figure it out at some point. But defense, you got to just get healthy, and hopefully the guys that you have understand what you're trying to do. Because Kevin Byard could be your CGJG, whatever the hell it was. But he can be that guy, right? He can be that guy that can kind of come down to the line of scrimmage, make things happen, on your slot guy, whatever you want to do. But he's a guy that can kind of fill that role. So now you got to see Reed Blankenship. Are you going to work with Sidney Brown? Are you going to work with, over top? So, there's questions that you got to ask. So we'll figure it out. I think that after the bye, we'll figure it out. I truly do.
Yeah. We got a super chat from Mr. Rudy Poo. Thank you so much, man. He says, third down defense got to be the worst in the NFL. Desai is capping his butt off in his press conferences. No physicality at all. Nah, I mean, it hurts me at times when these corners can't be physical, not even a little bit, and with these free releases, and I think that's what's hurting them. Like, I feel like you have to disrupt these routes, and they're not doing it, and it's a free for all. And I seen it again where what do you take at? I mean, because I know somewhat football, but as a cornerback, okay, when a guy is rolling past you and you start pointing mid play, like how are you supposed to get communication to somebody else? Oh, this is your guy. Is that what the pointing is? Like, oh, take him. Like how are they supposed to communicate mid play in a, you know what I mean? Like that. This is the second game that the Eagles secondary has been the same, which is good because it hasn't helped us for weeks. Having different guys because of the injuries that have been going on since the beginning of the season. Is there anything you take out of that? Like, communication?
No, it is terrible. That's what I've been trying to tell people is that it's like you've had 8 weeks until this week, right? This is the first week that we've had the same secondary 2 weeks in a row. And that shows. I mean, that everybody plays a little bit different. And I think it's not just communication, but it's trust. So like Darius Slay looking at Reed Blankenship behind him, he's probably going to be like, I know that Reed's probably going to do this if I do that, right? But you look back behind you and you got Justin Evans this week, you got Terrell Edmonds next week. It's like, I don't know what the hell he gonna do at this point. Like, I don't know what his MO is this season. So it's having that continuity is definitely showing, and the lack of it, I should say, is showing. So that's why I think after this bye week, you get to see your guys as close to healthy as they're probably going to be. You get to kind of calm down a little bit, and you get to kind of reset. And the Eagles need it. The Eagles definitely need it.
Yeah, true. We got 242 people in the chat. Appreciate everybody. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. Like the stream as much as possible. And if you guys haven't subscribed to Joe Castro, Philly, the podcast covers the Philadelphia Eagles. Definitely subscribe to his channel. His link for his channel is in the link below. So in the description below. Sorry. And yeah. So Rashad Penny, man, he actually got a couple snaps. I almost shit my pants.
Yeah, right? I was surprised.
Because going into the game, really, you said, Boston Scott's not playing, right? So, and whatever Boston Scott's going through, I hope it's nothing crazy. I hope he's doing well. I said, he's just going to take the kick returns and not get a kick return, because when are we ever getting kick returns now? So he's just going to be sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Because I saw that little interview he had, like, give me a shot. He said, give me a damn shot. Let me show what I could do. Which I don't get why they're still not, I don't get to this point. Do you think part of him running those 2 times in the beginning of the second half was that more because of Jalen Hurts being hurt, or was that the plan?
I wish I knew. I have no idea. It was just so random. It was so random that it was like, wait, hold on, what? Maybe it was part of the plan. Maybe they did say, let's give him a little, 2 carries. I think his special teams play was really big. I think that was a very heads up play of him to be, say that he's out of bounds and then catch that ball and then getting the ball at the 40. That was huge for the Eagles at that point. So, I mean, it was weird. Hopefully he gets some more. I want to see him out there on a passing play. I want to see him on a passing down, see how he looks in pass pro. Because if he offers you something there, why not give him a shot? So, I mean, it was cool to see him out there. It was definitely cool to see. It was one of the most random things. And you're like in the heat of the moment. And I honestly didn't really like register till like 2 or 3 plays later. I was like, oh, wait, hold on. Did Rashad Penny just run? Hold on. I had to like kind of go back for a second. But yeah, in the heat of the moment, you kind of didn't even realize. But yeah, he went out there randomly as hell. But that's what's up. I hope that they give him more opportunities, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, he had like a 7-8 yard run, and then he had like a 2 yard run, whatever, or a yard or 2. So I mean,
he
it's
deserves
great.
it. He deserves more time, I think.
Totally true. Kevin Thomas says Cunningham has been a gem. He really has. Man.
Yeah, both of them been. Morrow and Cunningham. They've been. I mean, when you get guys off the street like that, you know what I'm saying? It's always nice. And then shout out to Rashawn Evans too. Rashawn Evans had a big penalty towards the end of the game. So, and we cut him, or he asked to be cut from us. So he went to the Cowboys, had a big penalty against us. So,
he signed with the Cowboys?
Yeah, he had a penalty.
Shit.
He had a whole penalty. I was like, hey, shout out to you, bro. You doing work for us in the season. we ain't even paying you. We ain't even signing your checks no more. You still doing work for us. That's love. That's love.
Dude, I told you. I knew he left, but I didn't know where he went. I guess he had, I don't know.
He just got signed, like literally, I think right before the Eagles game.
Oh shit! I had no idea. We got super chat for Joe says, "Hey Joey, Eagles deal will be different after the bye." I am, dude.
I'm thinking so. I'm hoping.
So. I want to believe it. I need to be proved wrong. Like I really do.
Just blindly believe, Joe. That's what I've learned in life. Sometimes you got to just throw caution to the wind. Science to the wind, and just say you can't look
whatever
at
happens, fucking happens.
You can't just say, hey, like F it and just go do it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be better. I think that you have every opportunity, and I do like Desai. I do think that he's done well. We've had some really good games against some pretty good offenses, but we've played a lot of good offenses. So. And people are only throwing on us. Like, I know people like to bring up the whole how we're shutting defenses down as far as shutting down run games, but nobody's really trying to even run on us. They're just like, we'll throw it 50 times. And that's why our numbers are crazy, because nobody is balanced against us, which is good. Because once we start figuring out how to take advantage of people, it's a wrap. Like once you learn how to take advantage of people trying to just pass it, it's a wrap. It's over. Once Jalen Carter's really, really feeling himself, once these linebackers figure out where they're best, because that's really what it comes down to me for. Like, we've seen Nakobe Dean literally covering slot guys. I don't understand why that's ever his assignment. That should never. There's like maybe one or two guys in the NFL in total that can do that on a somewhat consistent basis. So to the fact that we're asking him to do that makes zero sense to me. But if you can keep him out there and kind of ask him to cover zones, cover areas that involve, what I'm saying, like a tight end or a running back, something like that, cover the flat, stuff like that. And then ask Zach Cunningham and Anthony or Nicholas Morrow, to be that guy that kind of just roams the field for you as a run stopper, kind of a pass coverage guy. Like, you can make stuff happen, but like, to ask these linebackers, any of them individually or as a tandem, to shut down an interior pass game, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It makes zero sense. So there is definitely things that the coach needs to do, and there's definitely things that the players need to do. But I think that having everybody in the same building for once, everybody healthy and kind of ready to go, I think that this is the opportunity. If you're ever going to turn it around, this is when you're going to do it, and you got to do it. You know what I'm saying? But
no, I get it. Like I said, like because I think there's like this mindset going into every game that the Eagles have to play perfect football the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, when are the Eagles going to get this dominating performance, winning by 4 scores, whatever? How many times do the Cowboys get 30 plus, 40 plus in games? A few times this year. And winning in style means absolutely nothing. It doesn't. If you and especially with Dak Prescott, every time, like we talked about it last week with these quarterbacks and what's the difference between Jalen Hurts and the rest of these quarterbacks. Like, Hurts can have an injury, come back and score touchdowns. Hurts can throw a pick, come back and score touchdowns. These other quarterbacks fucking fold like lawn chairs. We've been saying that nonstop. Now going into the bye week on top of it, so now you're losing, Dallas Goedert with the broken forearm now. So how'd you feel about that? And what do you think, what do you think the next move is going to be? Or who do you think will be a good in-house, next man up mentality type thing with that position?
Hopefully we get to see what Albert O all about. Like, that's really what I'm trying to see right now. But even if we don't, would be interesting to see if they call Tyree Jackson just to have another body as well. But I would do Jack Stahl. I think Jack Stahl ready. I truly do. I know people love Grant Calcaterra as far. Yeah, I probably don't. Let me rephrase that. I know that I know that a lot of the staff loves Grant Calcaterra and what he could be as far as a pass catcher, but he's not really a blocker at all. He's not like even pretending to be a blocker. So, in my opinion, let me phrase it like that. But I think that Jack Stahl can give you a little bit of both. Obviously, not to the extent that you get from a Dallas Goedert. It's going to be really, really tough. Tyree is on Giants practice squad. You can go ahead and take him back. But yeah, it's going to be tough to replace what Dallas Goedert is as a blocker, as an inline blocker, as a receiving weapon. So we're not going to replace who he is, but you can definitely get some good production, I think, out of Jack Stahl. Albert O is definitely the wild card. It'll be interesting to see what he does. That's really what I want to see. I really want to see what Albert O does, but because he could be a guy that,
potential. He's
got upside. He's got upside.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit here and act like he's gonna be the next coming of anybody, but like, he could be a guy that sticks around here for a little while if he gets some good PT and really fits in, because he's a big target, athletic guy. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, he runs a 4.49. He's catches these acrobatic catches. He's he has a lot of starring experience. All our tight ends have starring experience. Calcaterra does. Jack Stahl is very valued for his blocking. But he's a bigger body with reliable hands at times, so it's not too bad. But they can always compensate. You know what I really liked? I really liked the plays where they had Gainwell and Swift on the field at the same time. Having Swift as like a wide out, and then they had Boston Scott, kind of going to the right, Swift had that, that little toss that he had, the back motion, which was so creative. When you see a play, it's different. You're like, holy shit, did not expect that.
Yeah.
So it's like BrianJohnson has these like little plays. I feel like they should be using every back. I feel like Boston Scott should be used. I feel like there's so much more potential with a lot of these guys, but you can always compensate for not having a tight end if you want to keep Jack Stollin for blocking, or you want to use Swift out there or something like that, where now you can take advantage, use Swift out as a wide out, and if you need to pick up a blitz or something like that, obviously Kenneth Gainwell had a good game. Yeah, he had a good game. I mean, I know some Eagle fans are like, damn, I really didn't, wish he didn't have a good game, but
now I got to see. Kenny Gainwell is a guy that, look, he played his tail off last playoffs, and he played very good when he, I think it was against the Giants that he stepped in, but like he's played well. There's games that he's played well, but this year he has a lot of games that he hasn't played well. So if he wants to kick it into gear, maybe he's the guy that needs the bye week too. Because if he wants to kick it back into gear, be that guy that got 100+ yards against the Giants and did his thing in the playoffs, I'm cool with that. I'll shut up. I will shut up. Don't worry about it. I will shut my face. I will not say another word, bro. You got it. Nobody will DM you. You got it. If you want to go out there and play, it's just have a backup plan just in case. Because I think it's starting to affect DeAndre Swift. I really do. I feel like when you're able to stop even one of our running backs, it gives you that confidence for the next one to come in. Then it's like more of a, what I'm saying? If you're going to start with Kenneth Gainwell, which they do so many times, last game they didn't, but so many times it feels like you're starting heavy with Kenneth Gainwell. If you're going to do that, he's got to make some noise. He's got to do something. You know what I'm saying? Get your offensive line going. Because if not, it doesn't make sense. You're just bringing in DeAndre Swift every time the offensive line's like, oh shit, we gotta run.
Well, that's what I feel. That's what I feel like every time they bring Kenneth Gainwell and they know it's a pass every time. That's what every time they bring Kenneth Gainwell back in, they know it's a pass. That's why I feel like the substitution shit, they got to be more mysterious with it. It's looking too obvious on certain downs. And they brought Gainwell in on that 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't tell me I figured they're going to run on 3rd and 3. That's what I figured. But that's what I fucking thought. But
you don't even know with this team anymore, man.
What was the play? What was the play before that 4th and 3, the 3rd and 3? Was it an 8-yard run by Swift? What was that play?
It was a 7-yard run by Swift.
Why wouldn't you fucking do it again?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's the thing. Like they don't build off their and even when you get like a 1-yard gain, I get it. It's not like, but even our 1-yard gains look so hard fought from Swift. It's like, bro, just freaking give it to him again. I want another yard. Why not? Like our 1-yard gains look like 2 or 3 yards sometimes. I'm like, babe, we just got 2. Oh no, that's 1 yard. All right, we all right. We almost there.
Yeah.
We just need to get 3 yards.
Are they trying to just get like they see the man-on-man on AJ Brown? They're just trying to get those PI calls, or they're just trying to like that. Remember he threw in triple coverage in the end, the triple coverage pass. Like that was real ballsy.
Part of it to me is honestly a big part of it. And I know probably people won't want to admit or say this, but a big part of it to me is Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is, given a lot more leeway on what he wants to do. We saw the clip of him coming off the field and Nick Sirianni being like, oh, I let you do that because I trust you. And he's like, you should. I mean, Jalen's feeling himself, and that's a good thing. He's not a bad quarterback. So, I think he's feeling himself. I think he knows who he has out there. And if he has any inkling that he has an advantage on the outside, he's going to tuck that. He's going to say, all right, never mind. We're not running this play. So I think that there's a lot of plays that, are probably called for not a lot, but more plays that are called for DeAndre Swift that we just don't see because Jalen Hurts says, oh no, we got say less. Say less.
I mean, you're not being a robotic quarterback in an offense. You're not just following a play sheet. Like you're going to maybe change out of something and change it to another play. But obviously the chemistry between them two, I mean, 125 plus yards, 6 games straight is crazy. Didn't get it this last game, but we needed everybody involved. It couldn't be the AJ Brown show this whole entire game. Even after the injury, coming back and throwing a dime past Deron Bland, a dime to Devontae Smith, perfect pass, back to the left side of the end zone, which was great. So there were some good plays there. I mean, and look, I understand the whole thing. Like there's sometimes like, why the fuck would you throw that? Like, why would you do that? But I guess it's, Hurts just being confident, and usually a covered AJ Brown is really uncovered, and he could catch almost anything. And sometimes you got to take that chance. Even if take a play from like the Super Bowl last year, hit, AJ Brown's touchdown in the end zone, like threw the ball at a time where like it looked like the play wasn't even developed with the route, but he ends up in that spot and tracks it so well and uses that big frame of his. It's really crazy how that connection is. And I think it's definitely the most dangerous this year. I mean, fastest Eagles wide receiver to get 1,000 yards in 9 weeks as an Eagle, 1,005 yards for the season. Jalen Hurts breaks, Randall Cunningham's rushing touchdown record. I mean, it's crazy, dude. And the statistics have always been good with Hurts this year when it comes to whether he's tied or he's trailing. He plays better statistically when he's way ahead. So it shows, man. That's a really good statistic to look at. I mean, when they're down, and because you've been through so much adversity in so many games, and there hasn't been one game that's not a fucking nail biter at this point. Mm-hmm. Okay. This was the worst one where like, I'd rather get blown out by a team 42-0 than deal with a game like this, where they're constantly from the 20-yard line to our end zone, literally the whole entire quarter. I mean, literally it was in there the whole time.
It was definitely a nail biter. I'm still kind of like trying to figure out what happened. I ain't gonna lie. After this, I might rewatch like the condensed version. How do you think Tyler Steen played? I think he did up and down. I mean, like I have to rewatch it. I'm not gonna lie, but like it was up and down because I definitely remember times that I'm like, damn, he just got blown off the ball. But there's definitely times that I was like, all right, Steen, okay. I think that it was okay. I won't say, and again, like I said, I want to rewatch it and kind of refine what I'm thinking. But from what I remember, what I saw, hard tape, just it was up and down. There was definitely some times he got beat. Definitely some times he played his position. He did well. So I think it was a very normal game for a first start. Obviously Cam Jurgens will be back, but it wasn't bad. I don't think that it was.
I think it was 7. I think it was 7 pressures. I think he gave up. I think from PFF, I think it said like 7 pressures or something like that. But his play of the game was getting that fucking ball.
Yeah, that fumble was big.
that was his play, because God knows who else would have. It would have been game over. It would have been game over. It would have been done.
Yeah,
and that they couldn't score from that, then I don't know what to tell you at this point. Well, how did James react to the loss? I saw your video at the end, but how was the whole game in general just reacting with him the whole time?
It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. We do that every year now, but it like the last time. So the first 2 times we did it last year, and this is our second year doing it. But the first 2 times, obviously, his quarterback wasn't there, then my quarterback wasn't there, so it was kind of like. It was fun, you know what I'm saying? But it didn't have that, it was like, whatever, your quarterback's not there. So, like, you were probably going to win this, and it's not going to really matter. But this time, it was like, your quarterback's there, my quarterback's there. No excuses. You feel good about your team. I feel good about my team. Let's go. And, it was just, it was cool because I was high. Then I was low. He was high. He was then low. You know what I'm saying? It was just up and down the whole time. And then, like I said, that last minute, that whole minute video that I made was just clips from that last 2 minutes of playtime. Because it was just so he said, don't get a sack. And then right after that, he says, don't get a sack. He gets sacked. It's like, I thought we were going to lose. I'm not going to lie to you. Once they were on the 6-yard line, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I can't believe this is how we're going to fucking lose. I was so mad. Like, I was smoking a cigarette on air, Joey. I was
shit.
Bro, I was literally I was going like this. I was like, trying to but they saw me. I don't care.
Dude,
I was so stressed out. Bro. It was terrible.
In my head, I was already done. I think by the time they punted that ball, after the 4th and 3, they punted that ball. And it was to their 14. I said we were done. I knew we weren't gonna. I had no. How can I have faith in this defense? I mean, exactly. the more field they have, the worse it's gonna get. So how can I even feel like they're gonna win this game?
Yeah, my girl said it perfectly. She was like, "Damn, you lost this game like 10 times in a row, but you still won." Because there was like 10 times that I was in the fourth quarter alone that I was like, "We're about to lose this game. We're about to lose this. We just lost this game. We just lost this game. This is the most important part. We just lost." It's crazy, man. This team is just resilient. Like I thought I knew what resilient meant. I thought I knew what, like, you know what I'm saying. But no,
That
this
was
team is ridiculous, man. It's crazy because everything was going bad for them, especially towards the end. You know what I'm saying? Especially towards the end, everything went bad for you. It was like everything. You fumble the ball, you know, miss on third down, have to punt it back to them. You then get all these penalties. It's like anything that could go wrong went wrong, and you still won.
yeah. It must have felt so good. Like after you were like in that Cowboys war room
Oh yeah,
last week.
I was talking
I
shit.
watched it and I was
I'm
like,
talking.
man,
Oh, and you know it's funny because I could tell last week they did not feel comfortable with their team. I could just tell because you know whether it was like Joe, they were like, "Oh, you got green hair. What's going on with your green
yeah, I
hair?" Like,
saw it.
bruh, y'all can't talk about football, can y'all? Y'all scared. Y'all scared about this team because y'all know I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not just gonna argue with you. I'm gonna be real with you, and you know you don't want to hear the honest truth, man. So we saw what it is now. You know they are a social media team. That's all they are to me at this point. It's a very cute, you know, hey, Darius Slay does his podcast. That's cool. Obviously, the
Mm-hmm.
Kelseys have their podcast. That's cool. But they are the Dallas Cowboys are a social media podcast
Yeah.
with a football team. That's really all they are. Like they are so news driven. Like they got to be talked about on First Take. They got to have the pretty stats. Oh, we might have lost, but did you see what CD Lamb did?
Yeah,
Nobody
that's the
gives a
whole
damn.
fucking it's literally
Nobody
all day
cares.
today. All day
Nobody
today.
cares.
It's like
It's
who
the
gives a
corniest stuff.
shit?
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I've never done it, and I could never do it. Like if the Eagles would have lost that game, and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown both had 5,000 yards each, I would be sitting here like this is some bullshit. We need to figure this out. Yeah, but your boy got five. We're sitting here winning and still complaining about things that need to look better, need to get better before we get into
Yeah.
the playoffs. Like I just don't get the mindset. Like, yeah, oh, but CD Lamb though. Like, bro, you lost. You literally lost. Like, oh, but Dak, yeah, see, Dak outplayed Jalen. You lost. Like, what's the?
It,
He didn't outplay him. He lost. Like, what? It don't matter how many yards you get. How many yards you get if it's for a losing cause, especially how he lost. If it was any other way, like, bro, he lost that game at the end of the day. It was right in your hands. You lost the game. That's it. I don't care about the penalties, nothing. That's you are the leader. You are that offense. You lost the game. That's it.
yeah, well, the excuse was we were barely winning games. Even we're winning the games, we're barely winning, and
Yeah.
they don't even win a game, and they're getting all these really great compliments. Like it's just crazy, dude. Like all day, it's like and then I saw another I forgot what show it was today. I saw another thing. It was like, are the Eagles, an actual, a good 8-1 team?
Yeah, like what do
Just
you mean? We are
like, what
8-1.
the
We're the only 8-1 team. Where's the other good 8-1 teams right now? Like, yeah, people say stupid stuff, and you know, there's gonna be stupid stuff said all week.
Dude, I feel like this is the Cowboys market. I feel like this is what all these NFL sports, ESPN, all these sports programs, they need to talk about the Cowboys because it gets them fucking
Views,
viewership.
yeah,
That's all this shit is. That's all this shit
really
is.
is.
They hire the dumbest people. They hire to be out of talk with themselves. That's why Skip Bayless still has a job today, because that's what brings in the people. If you had two boring guys that are just two boring media guys, it's not going to do anything. This is I never watch the shit ever. I never do. Usually if I see it or I watch it, it's because somebody takes a clip and puts it on Twitter. Other than that,
Yeah.
I don't sit there all day. Like I had the TV on, I was doing some work at home, so I was just like I'd have my pen and I'd just be sitting and I'd be like writing something for work, and then I'm just like I must have did that like 5 times today. Like I'm sitting there listening to the most ridiculous shit. Like the Eagles get no respect out of it, and it's crazy, dude.
And it's fine with me. It's fine with me. Honestly, like I don't want to be talked about on TV. I don't want to be, you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
want my guys to get their money. You know, Jalen's in commercials. He ain't got to worry about money just because he's a Philly. Like, just because First Take talks about you, it don't really help your bag like that. So, hey, y'all can do what y'all want to do. That's cool. We gonna do what we gonna do, and we gonna win while we do it. That's it.
They talked about our cupcake schedule last year. Now the Cowboys are like, oh, you know, you gotta beat us in our house now. Oh, we got the Giants, we got the Panthers now. Like now, you know,
they're happy they got a cake schedule.
Right. Like it's the total opposite. Now they have the cupcake schedule the last couple games. I really hope we beat KC. I really do. And you know, we have a gauntlet of games, but I don't think KC might be the best team on our schedule going forward. If the Eagles could win out of three games out of one, or I don't know. I mean, the Bills are like very up and down this year. The 49ers are coming off a bye week now, trying to really get healthy, and they haven't been looking great. I mean, it changes. We were worried about this part of the schedule, like before the season started, like, oh, this is going to be rough, but you don't know what teams are going to look like by this time. And the Eagles it's not like they're too high. It's not like they're too low. It's like they're waiting to like peak.
Explode, yeah.
It's not happening yet. And we hate it because it's like, dude, like these nail biter games are pissing us off. We need to like, you know, let us be comfortable for a game where I could get up, go to the bathroom, and like come back and be like, oh, well, it's a great game, you know, like, but this win was great. And this was good for the city. You know, you're 3-0 in the division right now. Really, you beat Dallas one more time.
It's over.
This could be a first sweep. This could be a first sweep of at least for the Eagles in a long time through all the opponents. I mean, the Giants just lost Daniel Jones. Not like they were doing anything with him anyway, but you know,
they might be better now without him. Tyrod Taylor goes.
Yeah, maybe
they might be better. And you know, I think honestly, you have to go like 500. If the Eagles go 500 for the rest of the year, right? Because I think we have 8 games left, right? 8-1. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have 8 games left. If you go 500, there's no way that the Cowboys can beat you. You literally already won your division by default because they have zero way of getting past 14-3 now because you made sure they can't. So, I mean, this game makes, you know, it definitely helps out. I think that this game, if we're able to win the next, at least like 1 or 2 out of the next 3, I think that you can win 2 of them at least. But if you can win 1 or 2 of the next 3, it makes the last couple games pretty easy, to be honest.
Yeah. Rashad Taylor says, Joey, they took not getting blown out as a moral victory, coddling their QB, and when a loss is a loss, no matter what their stats said, it's all empty if it don't results in a win. And I think Dak has been the scapegoat. It's been every year. It's mostly been like everybody else. It's been the coordinator. It's been the head coach. That's what it's been for the past 8 years for that team. And I don't make Cowboys videos. I don't do this shit all year. Like the only time I make a Cowboy video is when we face the Cowboys or after the Cowboys. That's really the only time I've made probably 3 Cowboy videos this year, not even that. And that's a lot for me. Because at the end of the day, like I have to worry about my own team and like, why am I going to shit talk and say things that possibly are going to or not going to happen? Like, to make myself look like a friggin' idiot. And then too many people have done that. I think a lot of people lost credibility this week when it comes to, you know, what they have said this past week. And really, since this whole shit has been like going on since preseason, I mean, it's just crazy. It's like, who makes the better move in free agency? Who drafts better? It's always a competition. But once you put the helmet on and get on the field, this is, like you said, this is a resilient team. Like, yeah, we say we don't know we're resilient. Like, we always thought this team was resilient, but man, that was nail-biting fucking it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Like, DB says you're not beating Dallas and Dallas, dude. It's early, man. Like, it's
and the way that they say that so like confidently, like you just lost. Like that's like getting your butt beat, sitting on the ground and being like, oh, I'll whoop your ass though. You can't do that again. Like, bro, you literally are laying on the ground. Chill now. Like, just relax for now. You know what I'm saying? Get home, take a shower, change your clothes, like have a new breakfast. Like, wake up. You know what I mean? Like, really think about what happened and then come back to the park and fight again. But like this whole like staying at the park where you just got your ass whooped and then acting like it's all good. But you can't do it again. That's corny. It's weird. That's weird. This dude's DB Cooper because he gonna disappear. Just like what isn't that the dude's name? DB Cooper that they can't find out who he is. Yeah, that's fitting. Your whole team disappeared.
Yeah, I mean he at the end of the game, he disappeared the whole entire game, and then at the end of the game he actually came in and was like, oh, he was a good game, and that was it. He left, and then that was it. So as long as I get the props, I'm good. We show up every single day. I mean, I'm looking online. I'm not seeing too many videos. I've seen people are really in their feelings this week. I mean, it's only been a day since the game. I get it, but this is the difference. Like I feel like when the fingers are pointed in other spots when there's always an excuse. There's always something. How many times this year have like the refs, have we been disappointed with refs, but we're not making that like when we know that players are not making plays or play calls aren't good, like we're blaming it on that more than calls. Because at the end of the day, if you get those calls back, is that where I want to make that the main focal point of us winning a game? No, it's more than that. But it's just like, they're pissed. They're fucking pissed.
And they're like joining forces with the Dolphins right now. They're like, send us your tape. And then we'll send you our tape. And we're going to make a compilation of all the times. Like, bro, like, it's a game, bro. They had the exact same amount of penalties that we did. And I think we had more yardage. I think they had maybe one more penalty at the end, actually. But either way, like, bro, come on. Like, I don't know. It's just really sad, to be honest.
Yeah, DB says, Joey, stop lying. I'm here. I don't blow you on your little podcast or in the game. I'm watching the game. Oh no, you were. I know. I don't know what you're doing. I have no idea. You showed up at the beginning and then you showed up at the end, and that was fine. I'm not saying you disappeared, but you weren't there. I didn't see you type anything. I was watching the chat the whole time, but it doesn't mean you didn't show up. But you were there. So
your team wasn't.
Your team wasn't there, but you were there. You were there.
Dak definitely was.
They gotta have fun with it, because at the end of the day, if the Cowboys went from that 11-yard line and scored and won this game, they wouldn't be talking about none of this referee bullshit.
Exactly. They would be talking. They would just be happy that they won, man, and that's it. They would have won ugly, right? And a win is a win type ish. Well, a win is a win.
8-4 against Dak Prescott. 8-4.
Fact. Upside down 4. That was the most beautiful hit. Most beautiful hit ever.
Yeah, it's crazy. We got 243 in the chat. Appreciate everybody being here on a late night stream. Me and Joe for the 4th time. If you guys haven't subscribed to Joe Castro, his link is in the description below. Covers the Philadelphia Eagles. I know the Sixers played today. I think they won tonight. I think so.
Sixers looking good. Nets barely lost to the Bucks. So. I'm holding on. Your boy Ben Simmons have like 14.
Fucking shut up, dude.
Like y'all people
don't curse our team or this stream with that shit. Nothing to do with it. But yeah, I mean, I'm pretty pumped. I mean, it's gonna be nice and relaxing this week, and next week, and we'll see what happens. I mean, getting some reinforcements back, and Cam Jurgens will be huge coming back. Is Roby going to make a difference? I don't know.
We need him to.
I mean, I hope so. I hope. I don't know. I can't take too much out of these press conferences because I was like really pissed off today after hearing what Nick said, and I was just like, dude, like. He's not going to say things are going bad. He's not going to I get it. Like, you're not going to throw players under the bus. You're not going to say, oh, you probably shouldn't have thrown that ball to AJ. And he was like, oh, that's the best best opportunity. Yeah. I mean, it was
it again.
Yeah, I'd do it 3 more times.
Like, AJ Brown, get over here. We're going to reenact it. Let's go reenact it. Right. I get it. And especially not to like shout anybody, but looking at our reporters have not really done that great this year. The questions they're asking have been kind of like, they'll ask you not to ask something, and then you'll ask it. What do you expect them to do?
Yeah, Joe, we need you to be like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, bro, that's a dumbass question. Who told you to say stupid? Just do that. That's what I'm gonna do. Back in the back of the room, like he said, he's not gonna answer that. He's like,
We need some like young blood that like is living amongst this team, like watching this team play to like be in that room. Like that's what we need badly in that room.
We definitely need a resurgence of our reporters because we have like, whew, they're resilient too because they old as hell right now. Like they're resilient as hell. But it's crazy. Yeah, reporters are crazy. Yeah, it's just like I don't know what they're trying to report. Like I feel like I don't know. I feel like they're still stuck in like the 90s or something like that. Because it just makes no sense what they ask sometimes. I'm just like, and then they don't ask the questions we want to hear. Like, you know what I mean? Like
they're on Twitter all day, like listening to all this shit from the fans, and like yet they don't. Yeah, I don't know.
They're just out of touch, man. They out of touch.
You know, and we'll see. But Van says, Joey, you think they will sprinkle in more plays for Penny going forward? I don't know when they're going to unleash him fully. I don't like. I feel like they could do so much more right now, even when Boston Scott is like in the lineup. Like, why not use him? I mean, he's just a big mismatch. I mean, even for the backfield's a mismatch because he's hard to even see at this point, like behind this line. I mean, you don't know where. I mean, he's got such quick speed. I mean, he's a Darren Sproles 2.0 of this offense, literally, and they just don't use him.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't use a lot of their running backs. Like, you know, you got a couple guys that you can utilize. So I don't think Rashad Penny is going to get much more snaps, like especially like on purpose. If people get hurt, I think that's when he can really get a good shot. But I think you're going to have to see some real injuries happen for him to get a good like workload. Like,
yeah.
So we'll see though.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Unless there's something else, we got no super chats.
Good timing. Look at that.
There you go. Got Baldy with super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, I don't think that hit on Dak is getting talked about enough. I think that 2-point conversion was the direct result of avoiding another hit.
Probably.
I'm
not. If I get flipped like that, you're not hitting me again.
Yeah, no. I mean, that was. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect. I mean, I don't think that's ever happened to him. Like, because, I mean, I was a little. I mean, shout out to Slay and and Zach Cunningham on that. I mean, it's just a good. That's a crazy stop right there. It's a crazy stop. But we'll see. I thought that was one of my favorite parts of the game, no doubt.
I want that as like a shirt.
Dude, he got the Undertaker doing the damn.
Yeah, they have so many good memes, bro.
They're using that shit all over the place.
So many good memes. I gotta find my favorite meme and make it a shirt.
Hell yeah. But yeah, other than that, that's it. We got 172 in the chat. Much love to everybody joining the stream tonight, late night stream. We'll see. We'll be back next week if Joe wants to deal with it for another week. I say it every week. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to his channel. His link is in the description below. Yeah, we'll get we'll have videos out. What are you doing on the channel this week for your side of things?
This week we're gonna do some outdoor. I'm gonna actually live outside for a little bit, so some outdoor videos. We're gonna do some things outside, and just kind of assess what we're gonna do with this team over basically what we were talking about, right? Just kind of going a little bit more in depth on what I think this team needs to do coming out of the bye week and stuff like that. Some good times, man. But same old same. Good vibes. So come through. Appreciate you, Joe. We're gonna be back next week. So
we
ain't gotta keep no secret, but we'll be back, bro.
Let's definitely do it. So guys, you guys have a great night, and we will see you next week, and definitely look out for more content this week and stuff. So you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next one. Shakes, what up? Follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace out.